It's a chapter and then a blind, yay!
Yay! I wonder what's going to happen in the blind. But anyway, the chapter. Yeah, the chapter. We read a chapter.
I think we both called it when we said that Vin telling Sazed that she would have let Elend die, or that she made that choice, rather. That would stick with him as a big point for him.
Yes.
And his growth. Yeah.
Yeah, we hoped it would as well. It's like we were like, yeah, it should. And we were just like, yes, remember this. Think about this.
Yep. It's too short of a chapter for us to, I think, do any sort of discussion. So why don't we just get into it, yeah?
Okay, but I will say, Sazed is really pulling me down. That's all. Like, he's really, really bringing me down. Very sad Sazed. Yeah.
Yeah, poor Sazed.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. For this particular series, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, that darn Kitty.
Dorkus and I are both going into the story completely new with almost no knowledge of the story or world. Each segment will cover what happens in each new chapter while discussing our experience along the way.
This is The Hero of Ages. It's all in the pages, a blind read-through, and today we are covering Chapter 18 and 19.
Chapter 18 and 19!
I tripped you up with the cadence there, didn't I?
It's cool, it's cool.
The truth is, halfway through that, I forgot I was supposed to say and 19. So.
I mean, I was wondering if you were gonna, because I'm like, yeah. Also, Daisy is distracting me. So if I sounded distracted, it's Daisy's fault. Daisy, I have just cleaned all your fur off my desks.
Hi, Daisy.
Anyway. Hi, Daisy. Daisy also reading, hey? Yeah.
Rashek didn't solve all the world's problems. In fact, with each thing he did fix, he created new issues. However, he was clever enough that every subsequent problem was smaller than the ones before it. So instead of plants that died from the distorted sun and ashy ground, we got plants that didn't provide quite enough nutrition. He did save the world. True, the near destruction was his fault in the first place, but he did an admirable job, all things considered. At least he didn't release ruin to the land as we did.
Yeah. Oopsie.
Yeah, not great. I think this is one of the first epigraphs in this particular book that I felt like it's just rehashing stuff we already knew.
Yeah, it's just a comment on what it did before. It's the same sort of comment, except same sort of comment as before, where it was like, oh, his solutions got better. Now it's like, oh, well, his problems got smaller. Yes, okay, cool.
Yeah.
These are just comments. We didn't learn much at all.
Yeah. So there's this idea of improvement, of attempting to fix mistakes. It brings to mind a sort of image of a guy clambering around, wrecking things while trying to pick things up and organize in a way.
I'm just like, what? Why? Okay, I know the answer, but you know, it's kind of like, what did you want to do with the power anyway? Like, why do you need to change the world around? Like, as in, like, move stuff. Like, if, like, I don't know, you just change it so that you're more powerful or something. Like, don't just move the. Why do you want to move planets and stuff?
Well, it's funny that you say that. So the line, true, the near destruction was his fault in the first place. One of the times I read it, because I read this chapter more than once this week, one of the readings, I don't remember which one, I got really mad at whoever is writing these epigraphs, because I'm thinking, dude, Alendi was about to release Ruin.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Lord Ruler is a dick, but he almost wrecked the world, but at the end of the day, he saved it. But then...
Please keep that pause in. Please keep that pause in. That frustrated pause.
I will. I promise.
But then?
But then I realize that he's referencing the movement of the planet and not
Mhm.
taking the power for himself. So I just sort of
Mhm.
realigned what I think the writer's intention was when he said that statement. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah. But I mean, it's just that they didn't point it out. They could have, especially if we were repeating ourselves in these comments as well. Like, okay, I know that we want. I think that the point of this epigraph is to get the at least he didn't release Ruin into the world as we did. But
I agree.
yeah, it's just without saying Alendi. I guess I guess it would double the point if we just spoke about Alendi anyway. But yeah, luckily Alendi didn't release Ruin into the world. Oopsie, we did it too. So we did it now. So what now?
Yeah.
Either way, death and destruction. Now everything's just worse because of Ruin. So it's much of a muchness, guys. It's just end of the world there versus end of the world here. Eh, it's nothing, no big deal.
Yeah. Sazed slapped his horse on the rump, sending it galloping away. The beast's hooves kicked up chunks of packed ash as it ran. Its coat had once been a keen white, now it was a rough gray. Its ribs were beginning to show. It was malnourished to the point that it was no longer reasonable to expect it to carry a rider, and they could no longer afford to spare food for it.
Aw, horsey.
Yeah, so my first thought reading that was, aw, Kitty's gonna be sad.
Yeah, I love a horseman.
Yeah.
Never mind. Just considering what I've been doing, no, it's not.
Kitty's
Yeah,
been reading
your
about minotaurs, folks.
no. I did not read it, but I've been researching it. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
My second thought was, how is that animal going to eat under mountains of ash in a dwindling sunlight world?
Yeah, it's going to. Yeah, it's going to have to essentially dig. But horses will scrounge around, but they will not be literally burrowing because it sounds like they need to burrow to get to the ground. And also, what they do get underneath there is not going to be living
Hmm.
because there's no sunlight, there's nothing. So that yeah, it's like, hey horse, go and try it for yourself. Try survive. We don't want to
Yeah.
see you die. So go on. At least they didn't kill it and eat it. So I mean that's usually a thing that would happen.
Hmm.
So yeah.
My third thought was, is there any symbolic meaning to its color had been a keen white, but is now a rough gray?
Oh yeah. It can symbolize so many different things. Which one did you fixate on?
Well, generally speaking, a white horse means death, right? So the fact that it is no longer death could implicate Sazed as the hero of ages, maybe, or
Mm.
symbolize some degree of hope. But that it is turning gray, I think, is more in reference to the malnourishment
Mm.
that it is experiencing, and frankly, probably all of the ash involved. So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the color, just the color, not the fact that it's a horse. So the color white being purity and I don't know, goodness, peace, that sort of thing. Maybe even faith if you're thinking of like clarity, purity. Everything is muddied and ruined in Sazed's mind, in Sazed's life. He had a pretty white horse back when he was with Tyndall, and now the world is grey. Essentially, it's the same thing and malnourished. This is his soul. His soul is fading away and has nothing to feed on. Actually,
Mm,
and he's sent it off. He's sent it off with a smack on the rump. That's actually it as well. He's not fighting for it to come stay with him. He's not he's not trying really to come back to life because he has no nourishment through faith. So
hmm.
yeah, he's a faithless man.
Side note, do you think the horse could survive by eating ash?
Yeah, maybe. There's like it will eventually try, I suppose, but
Probably.
it probably just become part of a mist wraith at some point.
Yeah, why didn't the Lord Ruler make ash edible? That would have solved so
Yeah.
many problems.
Hello. Exactly. Imagine that's it. Just the ashes, the ash. It's manna from heaven. Essentially, it's yeah, or candy floss. Hey, that's bad. That's empty calories, boys. But like, still, it it's something. Uh,
Remember, it's not the best choice, it's Spacer's choice.
I wish I knew what you were talking about, but I'm sure it's hilarious because it was really well delivered.
Thank you. It's an Outer Worlds
Mm.
reference.
Mm.
Now that's a sad sight, Breeze noted, standing beside Sazed on the ash-covered road. Their guard of 200 soldiers waited quietly, watching the beast run. Sazed couldn't help feeling that the release of their final horse was a symbol. Ah, we just talked about it as a symbol, sort
Mhm.
of, the color.
Yeah, but yeah, but also it's for him. It's like the release of the last hope. We've lost it. That's it. We're done.
Hmm. You think it will survive? Breeze asked. I suspect that it will still be able to poke beneath the ash and find nourishment for a time, said Sazed. It will be difficult, however. Breeze grunted. Living's difficult work for all of us these days. Well, I wish the creature the best of luck. Are you going to join Ulrian and me in the carriage? Sazed glanced over his shoulder toward the vehicle, which had been lightened, then rigged to be pulled by soldiers. They had removed the doors and hung curtains instead, and had removed sections of the back as well. With the decreased weight and 200 men to take turns, the vehicle wouldn't be too much of a burden. Still, Sazed knew he would feel guilty being pulled by others. His old servant's instincts were too strong.
Or maybe he just yeah. It's not so much about being a servant. It's about use your own 2 feet.
Yeah.
Don't make other people work for you. But I'm considering that Breeze is a little rotund, so it would be very difficult, and he would actually slow them down. I would say. Uh, so yeah, we have to move him. Like I don't think Alrian. Well, also Alrian will be like, oh my gosh, my dress in the ash. So yeah, I guess it shows some sort of prestige as well. That look, the men are carrying them, kind of
well,
thing, and at least they take turns. That's good.
Well, beyond what I feel would be awkward, I wouldn't be comfortable with people carrying me around like that. It
Yeah.
You've hit the nail on the head that there's an element of prestige to it, and
Mm.
I think if they approach Quellian
Oh.
in this manner, they're going to set a terrible, really
Mm-hmm.
terrible first impression. Again, I go back to saying it might not have been ideal, but he should have sent
Scar.
the ska. What was his name? Fatrin.
Yeah. Or just I'm sure there's some Scar person among them. You know.
Demio should have
Demure.
been
Yeah.
sent. um,
Yeah.
uh,
This yeah, this is a problem. Like the prestige thing is like that's what they think it is, but it's not. It's not a good thing at all. It's look at you're using these slaves. You
yeah,
know.
yeah, and
Mm.
you really don't want to give Quellian any ammo.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna spin that even worse. Yeah.
Yep. You come here carried on the backs of ska?
Yeah, exactly. He could. Oh, that's the twist. It's like, no, well, they're not really on the backs. You guys are making it like we're piggybacking. No, no, no. You've got a whole carriage. Like, those are what's it? Sedan chairs. Those are a thing in history, but not a good thing. So,
Yeah.
rickshaw. Come on. Okay, well, that's the thing. It is kind of like a rickshaw. It's not a sled or anything. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway, with the
it's
ash,
a
it's a sled now.
carriage.
Yeah, it's a carrot. But manpower, using manpower is weird. Okay, exploit horses.
But they can't feed the horses.
Yeah, I know.
No, Sazed said. I shall walk for a bit, thank you. Breeze nodded, moving to the carriage to sit with Ulrian, a soldier holding a parasol over his head until he was inside. Now exposed to the ash, Sazed put up the hood of his travel robe, hefted his portfolio in his arm, then strode across the black ground to the front of the line. Captain Goradel, he said, you may continue your march. Goradel's back. Uh, Sanderson does have a fairly decent way of keeping around his cast of characters. I mean, there's some that he dropped, like many of the nobles from the balls, but
Mhm.
every so often he does bring back some of these side characters in interesting ways.
Mhm.
They did so. It was a rough hike. The ash was growing thick and it was slick and tiring to walk on. It moved and shifted beneath their feet, almost as difficult as walking on sand. As hard as the hike was, it wasn't enough to distract Sazed from his troubled feelings. He had hoped that visiting the army, meeting with Elend and Vin, would give him a respite. The two were dear friends, and their affection for one another tended to bolster him. He had, after all, been the one to perform their marriage.
Yeah, that's supposed to bolster him, but it's probably makes him resentful because that's their love and his love is lost. So yeah, the depression monster or whatever takes anything positive and just absorbs it and makes it something that will hurt you.
Yeah. Yet this meeting had left him even more troubled. Ween allowed Ellen to die? He thought, and she did it because of things I taught her. So that is the affirmation of what you and I had foreseen, or foresaw,
Mhm.
which was that would be a note he would replay for himself.
Yeah, so good on Sozit for doing it, but what are you doing with it? No, now we're going. Well, it's because of things I taught her that she did it. So must I now feel guilty, or what do I do with this? Mm.
Right. And that exact thought or something approximating it comes in this next paragraph, and it's a line that I'm fond of, actually. He carried the picture of a flower in his sleeve pocket, trying to make sense of his conversation with Vin. How had Sazed become the one that people came to with their problems? I I read that and I laughed. And I felt bad laughing because I know it's bothersome to him. And
Mhm.
I know that it's a dark thing, I think, to think that someone else decided to let their loved one die because of something that
Mhm.
he had said. But there was something humorous to me in that as well.
Mm. Why was it? Is it because it's like, well, of course we come to you for help, or what's the sentiment behind it? Was it just the kind of like, "Ugh, why you gotta rely on me?" And it was just a funny kind of tone to have in there.
I think some of it was just the tone that I had given it, but
Mhm.
an element of what do I know? Why me? I don't know
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah, except you're a scholar and you're just a good person and you think things through, and that's what people do. Okay, so it's not like you told her exactly what to do, and then she did it because you said so. Okay, that's giving yourself a little bit too much credit. It's also she makes a decision herself. People have agency themselves. Don't take the blame for absolutely everything other people do. Yes, that actually makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then we get into the darker side of
Mhm.
that thought, which is, couldn't they sense that he was a hypocrite, capable of formulating answers that sounded good, yet incapable of following his own advice? He felt lost. He felt a weight squeezing him, telling him to give up. And at that point, whatever humor I sensed in that initial line
Mm.
is like, okay, no, this is coming from something dark, a much darker place.
Mhm.
There's a bitterness there, not a clubs esque. I don't talk about things, so why do you keep coming to me to talk to me?
Mm.
Kind of dynamic. Not that clubs was ever quite like that, but I think it approximates what I wanted to communicate.
Mhm.
Poor Sazed.
Yeah. It's more of depressed Sazed, and it's a horrible thing to behold because
Yeah.
you just want to be like, wake up, come back.
Yeah. And he is still carrying the flower, which I think will be
Mhm.
important.
Yeah, that's the so you've let this last horse go, but that flower is hope. So don't let it go.
Yeah. How easily Ellen spoke of hope and humor, as if being happy were simply a decision one made. Some people assumed that it was. Once Sazed might have agreed with them. Now his stomach twisted, and he felt sick at the thought of taking essentially any action. His thoughts were constantly invaded by doubts. So this is the "is happiness a choice" discussion.
Mm.
Is it, Kitty?
Sometimes, yeah, I think it's part of it. Choosing is part of it. Choosing to continue through unhappiness is a path to happiness.
Yes?
Yeah. So you kind of just don't. The fact is, you just mustn't give up. That's the thing. Don't choose to give up,
Yeah. I mean,
and that's
there's
as close to a choice as possible.
yeah. I mean, there's certainly chemical imbalances, among other things. There is certainly being in the immediate of
Hmm.
extremely traumatic situations. You certainly shouldn't tell someone being happy is a choice when they're going through that kind of stuff, although Sazed's been
Hmm.
in mourning for, at this point, an overly long time.
Hmm.
But as you said, Kitty, it's how you react to the situations, and it's sort of in all things in their time kind of a
Mm.
thing. You don't want to embrace the despair, but you also do have to go through it and experience it and exist within it.
Yeah, just don't let it overtake you.
Yeah, don't let it overtake you, but at some point, when it no longer serves you,
Mm.
when it's not so immediate, and you understand that life goes on and there are other things that it's just not practical, you cannot mourn forever, and then you have to make the choice to live, to go on, to
Mm.
cherish those who are still with you. And it's not a permanently retracting thing. Grief expands and retracts. There are
Mm.
times where it will be uniquely difficult, and then there are days where it isn't so difficult. And the days when it isn't so difficult doesn't mean you have betrayed the person for whom you are mourning. It's natural.
Yeah. You there so there is an element of choice there where you have to come to you it's coming to terms with, which can be seen as a choice. I don't think it's as simple as just choose to be happy. It's not like that.
Yeah.
That's really simplistic. It's more like you have to really think yourself into, okay, it is okay for me to live normally. This is like get come to that conclusion that I'm not betraying the person by living my life.
Yeah. I also notice, speaking of all of this, that I don't see Sazed doing what Elend told him to do, which is to be always smiling and being defiant in that way.
Yeah, he's not part of the movement in that. No, he's very much just and for people who know Sazed, that would bring me down. Just even being around him, knowing what he was like before, that would not help me have hope in the world. Because I'd be like, if he cannot see the light, what must I do? Like it's something that happens in your friend group or something like that. When if somebody else is down, it can affect you quite a lot.
Yeah. I'll preface this by saying I don't think Vin will ever, ever, ever give up on Sazed,
Yeah.
but do you think we're going to get to a point in this book where his depression becomes so much that Elend and the rest of the crew are basically saying, Sazed, we've had enough of this. Go figure your shit out.
Probably not that harsh. I think it might. There may be. I don't know. It's possible that some character blows up at him, like just snap out of it, man, or something kind of thing. Uh,
Hmm.
just out of frustration because other people are there. That's the thing. Like you try and be gentle, but eventually your own feelings might pierce through that, and your own feelings of being frustrated with him might turn into a bit of an outburst. But I don't think it would be get out of here. I don't think so.
Hmm.
It would be like an intervention.
Gotcha.
Sazed, we're here. We love you, but we need you to stop being addicted to this grief, essentially, because you're kind of you're indulging in it. No, that's a very bad way to say it. It's not self-indulgence, but it's like you're wallowing in it to the point that it's not even honoring Tyndall.
Yeah. This is what religion is for, Sazed thought as he tromped through the ash at the head of the column, carrying his pack on his shoulders. It helps people through times like these. He looked down at his portfolio, then he opened it and leafed through the pages as he walked. Hundreds finished, and not a single one of the religions had provided the answers he sought. Perhaps he knew them too well. Most of the crew had trouble worshipping Kelsier as the other Ska did, for they knew of his faults and his quirks. They knew him as a man first, as a god second. Perhaps the religions were the same to Sazed. He knew them so well that he could see their flaws too easily. He did not disparage the people who had followed the religions, but Sazed, so far, had found only contradiction and hypocrisy in each one he studied. Well, that makes it sound like he did manage to convert a bunch of people, and I know he converted Clubs at the end there, but Clubs is dead. Rip Clubs. I didn't get
Mhm.
the sense he was particularly successful with converting anyone else.
No, I think he's just talking about or thinking about the people of history that followed them.
Hmm,
It's not the living people. It's just he did not disparage the people who had followed.
gotcha.
So had followed. So yeah, he's just thinking about the people in the past, people people that created essentially these religions that he knows about. That he was preserving them for, essentially.
Right. Divinity was supposed to be perfect. Divinity didn't let its followers get slaughtered, and certainly didn't allow the world to be destroyed by good men who were trying to save it.
Oh, who told you divinity or the way divinity is supposed to be? That's part of
Yeah.
religion. How you perceive divinity, what you expect of divinity, is part of religion. So he's actually got his own idea of what he's looking for in a religion. He wants a perfect divinity. He wants no strife.
Yes. Which carries with it its own issues. The
Mm-hmm.
Pleasantville problem, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wanted to say whoever said that God is good, but then I think, okay, well, actually, no, a lot of people say God is good.
Mm-hmm.
So I will reframe that to how can anyone claim to understand God, so to speak? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is it there are a lot of people who say why does God let bad things happen? And I think I've explained more or less how I tend to conceptualize God on this podcast. I don't think I need to rehash it. At the end of the day, it seems to me a being of such immense powers would be beyond human comprehension. So
Yeah.
it is his way.
They find that answer not good enough
Yeah.
because they want to use their understanding and they say, well, no, to me this is just all wrong. That's it. If you have this power, why are you not doing it? You are evil. And that's part of why they just so they might it's actually kind of like that they might not believe in God. They just don't believe that God is good.
That or they can't conceive of God not thinking in the way that humans think,
Mm, exactly, yeah.
because it is a very human way of thinking.
But this does come back. Sorry, this does come back to the choice thing because yes, there's actually a choice to accept certain answers of well, actually to accept that you don't know God, to accept that you don't know what the big plan is and all of that stuff. That is a choice. You could dwell on not knowing and stay in that and build resentment for it and stay in that position, but you can also make the choice of, oh, okay, I don't know everything, I will go on with hope and faith.
Hmm. One of the remaining ones would provide an answer. There had to be truth he could discover. As his feelings of dark suffocation threatened to overwhelm him, he fell to his studies, taking out the next sheet in line and strapping it to the outside of the portfolio. He would analyze it as he walked, carrying the portfolio with the sheet on the bottom when he wasn't reading, thereby keeping the ash off it. He'd find the answers. He dared not think what he would do if there weren't any. Dark Sazed, darkest Sazed.
Yeah, but I feel like there won't be.
Oh, there definitely won't be.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of time. So what happens when we get to that point? That point is where the breaking point is, when there's nothing left for him to obsess over. What do we do?
I think, considering the implications of this thought,
Mm.
I think it's entirely possible that he will turn to the Church of the Survivor, which probably isn't in any of his notes, especially considering that he said in the first book that he was going to go without talking to the church and then come back once things have settled a little bit to do so. Because the main thing of the Church of the Survivor is survive, and that stands in
Hmm.
opposition to the implication of this particular sentence.
Yeah, direct opposition.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he would become like this fervent believer, but it's like that's the key principle is survive. So just remember that. That's it. That's the answer.
Yeah.
And hello, Calcia survived the death of his wife. Essentially snapped because of it. All of that.
Hmm.
All of this came from, maybe he'll come to that realization that look what Calcia did in the wake of the loss of his love.
Yeah. They eventually passed into the Central Dominance, entering lands where men could still struggle for food and life. Breeze and Alrion stayed in the carriage, but Sazed was glad to walk, even if it made difficult to study his religions. They switched biomes, Kitty. He wasn't certain what to make of the cultivated fields. They passed scores of them. Elend had packed as many people as possible into the Central Dominance, then had ordered all of them to grow food for the next winter. Even those Ska who had lived in the cities were well accustomed to hard work, and they quickly did as Elend ordered. Sazed wasn't certain if the people understood quite how dire their situation was, or if they were simply happy to have someone tell them what to do. Mix of both?
Mix of both, depends on the person. You, in a dire situation, you're like, well, what can I do? Just tell me what I need to do to help this situation. I don't want to sit and do nothing. And that does help, yes.
Yep. The roadside was heaped with tall piles of ash. Each day, the Ska workers had to clear away the ash that had fallen during the night. This unending task, along with the need to carry water to most of the new, unirrigated fields, created a very labor intensive system of agriculture. The crops did grow, however. Sazed's troop passed field after field, each one budding with brown plants. The sight should have brought him hope, yet it was difficult to gaze upon the sprouting stalks and not feel a greater despair. They looked so weak and small next to the massive piles of ash. Leaving aside the mists, how was Elend going to feed an empire in these conditions? How long would it be before there was simply too much ash to move? It is noteworthy that we got an epigraph about nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
and now we have this focus on the agriculture here. Again, I think it subtly hints that Sazed might be the epigraph man in this book, but I think,
Mm-hmm.
Kitty, you still disagree with me on that.
Yeah, I'm still seeing it as Vin.
Cool. Ska worked the fields, their postures much as they had been during the days of the Lord Ruler. What had really changed for them? Look at them, a voice said. Sazed turned to see Captain Goradel walking up beside him. Bald and rugged, the man had a good-natured disposition, a trait common in the soldiers whom Ham promoted. Goradel's back.
Mm-hmm.
I know, Sazed said quietly. Even with the ash and the mist, seeing them gives me hope. Sazed raised his eyes sharply. Really? Sure. My family were farmers, Master Terraceman. We lived in Luthadel, but worked the outer fields. But you were a soldier, Sazed said. Weren't you the one who led Lady Wynne into the palace the night she killed the Lord Ruler? Goradel nodded. Actually, I led Lord Elend into the palace to rescue Lady Vin, though she turned out to not need much help from us. Anyway, you're right. I was a soldier in the Lord Ruler's palace. My parents disowned me when I joined up, but I just couldn't face working in the fields my whole life. That's some not so subtle exposition there.
Well, yeah, I think it's fine.
I do
It's
too. I
not
just think it's kind of
it's not bad.
funny.
I mean, it's what they're talking about. It makes sense because it's like, oh, well, I didn't know you were a farmer, and yeah, just a little bit of a reminder in case you didn't know where Gorodel came from. Yeah, and I just love that he kind of echoed oppositely
Mm-hmm.
Sazed's thought, where he's like, what had really changed for them? And also it should give me hope, but it doesn't. And he's like, no, it gives me hope. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what Sazed needs to hear. That,
Yes!
you know, this is
Church of
not
the Survivor.
there are, yeah, there are other people that are not as hopeless as you are. So take courage from them. See the world through their eyes, and maybe that will help you.
Yeah. This whole conversation, you can very clearly see Sanderson giving Sazed all of the
Hmm.
building blocks that will become necessary and fall into place to change him from his current trajectory into
Yeah.
a positive end.
Yeah, it will strengthen him. Okay, he's learning from other people. I just anyway, just the mechanism of him going, I know, and then Gorodel going on to this hopeful thing. It's like what? Because he was expecting commiseration,
Hmm.
sadness. He that's what's in his mind. He's feeding himself all of this, and I'm so glad that we get this conversation. It's good.
Yeah. It is arduous work. No, it wasn't that, Goradel said. It wasn't the labor. It was the hopelessness. I couldn't stand to work all day to grow something I knew would belong to someone else. That's why I left the fields to become a soldier, and that's why seeing these farms gives me hope. Communism. What? Who said that?
Yeah, I was going to say means of production.
Goradel nodded toward a passing field. Some of the Ska looked up, then waved as they saw Ellen's banner. These people, Goradel said, they work because they want to. They work because if they don't, they will starve. Sure, Goradel said. I guess that's so. But they're not working because someone will beat them if they don't. They're working so that their families and their friends will live. There's a difference in that to a farmer. You can see it in the way they stand. And that stands in contrast, pun, to Sazed thinking they were all hunched over, which they probably are,
Yes.
but yeah.
But you have to hunch over to work down. But yeah, he's not seeing he's clearly not seeing it the way he's interpreting signs the way he wants to through that darkened lens. And just they work because they if they don't they'll starve. Yes, that's life. That's actually what happens with life is that we actually continue living it because otherwise we will die. So it's not because it's like it's the way he says that is as if it's like you're just supposed to have food. Food is just supposed to appear in front of you. You're not supposed to work for it. There's that's a problem with the world. But it's like no, look, this is how we can view it that we are helping each other and we are it's for feeding other people. It's not this begrudging oh, I have to work for food. Like that's essentially what we're getting here. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
they'll starve otherwise. Or obviously, he'll also focus on the fact that there is famine and all of that. I understand, but yeah, I love the way Gorodal is seeing this, and it's like, yeah, this is freedom. This is the good part of freedom, where you're working for yourself, where you're getting the fruits of your labor.
Yeah. And there's a concept I kind of want to try to articulate. What I was saying earlier about Sanderson giving Sazed these building blocks that will all fall into
Hmm.
place and allow him to have whatever epiphany he requires. Because I think he deep down wants to emerge from this reborn. I think this conversation, it could be argued, is divinity, is God. God is speaking
Hmm.
through Goradel. And I don't mean like God is inhabiting Goradel, possessing him and making him speak, but I think the interaction that is occurring and what it will do to Sazed and for Sazed, that is God. In the same
Yes.
way that someone creating something artistic and being at one with themselves in their creation process, that is an example of God speaking to you or through you. It's a similar concept here.
Yeah.
ironic since Sazed is looking for God right now.
Yes, exactly. He's looking for it. But he doesn't see it right in front of him. Oh, God lets all this happen, but also God is letting this kind of person have hope as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, great that God is right in front of him, and he's not seeing it. Goodness. If you don't want to say God, then goodness. Okay, the
Yeah.
spirit of goodness is in front of him, and he
Yes.
is
Well
not
said.
exactly. Yeah, he's not seeing it yet because why? Because of the tinted glasses, essentially.
Yeah. He'll get there.
Mm.
Sazed frowned as they walked, but said nothing further. Anyway, Master Terraceman, Goradel said, I came to suggest that we make a stop at Luthadel for supplies. I suspected that we would do so, Sazed said. I, however, will need to leave you for a few days as you go to Luthadel. Lord Breeze can take command. I shall meet up with you in the Northern Highway. Goradel nodded, going to make the arrangements. He didn't ask why Sazed wanted to leave the group or what his destination was. I was curious, but we get that answer.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like maybe he knows, or also he has no space to pry, so it's just like, yeah, do what you need. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
doing my stuff. See you later.
Several days later, Sazed arrived alone at the pits of Hathsin. I read that line, and before going further, I was like, is this a mare thing? Is this a Kelsier thing? Is this because of what Vin had said?
Yeah, is he going there to just muse
Pay
a bit about it?
respects?
Like, what is he doing there? Yeah, that's also when I was like, oh, geez, what are we at the pits of Hassan for? Just to think? Why do we need to
Yeah.
go there to think about them? We don't have. That's quite a journey. Just any journey doesn't make sense to me. But then we know.
Yeah. There was little to distinguish the area now that the ash covered everything. Sazed's feet kicked up clumps of it as he moved to the top of a hill. He looked down on the valley that contained the pits, the place where Kelsier's wife had been murdered, the place where the survivor had been born. It was now the home of the Terrace people.
Okay, so yeah.
I've got a bit to say here. I believe I have made known my theory that the pits
Mm-hmm.
of Hathsin are what the Silver Lake was, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. So I think the fact that the Terrace and the Terrace people of the old world, for lack of a better term, that they lived near the Silver Lake, that no one else did. I think the fact that that is reoccurring here is incredibly important. I think it almost suggests that the Terrace people are spiritually connected in some way to the Silver Lake in a way that other people aren't. The chosen people.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a thing. And I think it sets them up as some sort of, well, protectors in a way. And I think this particular chapter goes on to talk about them as living somewhat pastoral, easy lives. Again, that doesn't strike me as that much different from what we know of the Terrace of the past.
Yeah, but they don't know the significance. That's what's sad. Is like they
Correct.
don't actually know the significance. So they are these chosen people in this theory, but they don't know anything about their past themselves. They don't know of a Silver Lake or anything like that.
Yes, correct. In theory, the only ones alive who know about the Silver Lake are the crew.
Yeah.
And why would they bother to make the connection between the Atium and the, well, Silver Lake?
Yeah, they don't have time.
Yeah. There were few of them remaining. They had never been a very large population, and the coming of the mists and the difficult trek down to the central dominance had claimed many lives. There were perhaps 40,000 of them left, and a good many of the men were eunuchs like Sazed. No, but also
Okay, but
40,000 is a good amount
yeah,
ish.
and fine, a good many of them, fine, but that means that we still have some fully intact men. So that's good for your population. A good thing about men is that they can have many partners. So there you go.
Harem anime?
Yes, like you need hair. You do actually need that kind of wildness going on there, guys. You do.
And who knows, maybe ferochemy is a recessive trait, and it's not all died out yet. We can
Yes,
hope.
exactly. And I know that now people are probably, but women can also have multiple partners. I mean, no, as in impregnate multiple people. Okay, that's what I mean. Okay, relax.
Sazed started downward. The valley had been a natural place to settle the Terrace people. During the days of the Lord Ruler, hundreds of slaves had worked here, watched over by hundreds of soldiers. That had ended when Kelsier had returned to the pits and destroyed their ability to produce atium. However, the buildings and infrastructure that had supported the pits still existed. There was plenty of fresh water and some shelter. The Terrace people had improved on this, building other structures across the valley, making what was once the most terrifying of prison camps into a group of pastoral villages.
That's cool. I want that for them.
I agree.
They've been waiting for this forever. Okay, like they've been they've been tortured in worse ways than the scar. So it's like, please just let them have this kind of life.
Please.
Mm.
They deserve peace.
Mm-hmm.
As Sazed walked down the hillside, he could see people brushing away the ash from the ground, letting the natural plant life poke through to provide grazing for the animals. The scrub that formed the dominant foliage in the central dominance was a resilient, hardy group of plants adapted to ash and didn't need as much water as farm crops. That meant the terrace people now had relatively easy lives. They were herdsmen, as they had been during the centuries before the Lord Ruler's ascension. A hardy, short legged breed of sheep mulled about on the hills, chewing down the uncovered stalks of scrub.
Sheep. Yes, and so there we have the mention of those plants adapted to ash.
Yep.
Thanks, horrible Lord Ruler, who did horrible things afterwards, but thanks for that at least. Although you created the problem.
Yeah. Sanderson wants us to know something important about the plants. Something very
Mm-hmm.
important.
Mm-hmm.
Soteris people, Sazed thought, living lives easier than most. What a strange world it has become.
Yes, have hope in it.
Yes,
Wow, be happy.
do it. Do it, Sazed. Make the choice.
See goodness. Just see it. Just see goodness. Yes, I know it's very scared. That's what you're fighting for as well. Look at this amazing thing that's happened. But now, right at the end of the world, this happens. We're not going to let that continue. We saved the world.
Yeah. His approach soon attracted attention. Children ran for their parents, and heads poked from shacks. Sheep began to gather around Sazed as he walked, perhaps hoping that he had come bearing treats. I smiled there.
Yay, sheep.
Several aged men rushed up the hillside, moving as quickly as their gnarled limbs would allow. They, like Sazed, still wore their steward's robes. Also, like Sazed, they kept them clean of ash, showing the colorful V-shaped patterns that ran down the fronts. Those patterns had once indicated the noble house that the steward served. Lord Sazed, one of the men said eagerly. Your Majesty, said another. Your Majesty, Sazed thinks. Please, Sazed said, raising his hands, do not call me that. The two aged stewards glanced at each other. Please, Master Keeper, let us get you something warm to eat. End chapter.
Hmm. He has returned.
Yes.
Hmm.
And he doesn't want to be called Your Majesty.
Well, he is Your Majesty to them, and that's it. Also, quite interesting that we have the colorful robes referenced right at the end here. We started off the chapter with the gray horse
Ooh, I missed that.
and fat, like the ribs jutting out, and nothing for that horse to feed on. Now we've got sheep grazing all over the place, and yeah, it's looking very different to what we started off with. So hopefully this is the beginning of some sort of shift.
I
But I
doubt
think we
it.
have a lot of book left. Yeah, we have a
Yeah.
lot of book left. So yeah. But it's where it lies. I suppose that's it. That it's pointing to this is where his hope would lie. That's what I'm saying, symbolically.
Yes. And 19 is a blind,
Let's go. Are you ready?
as I'll ever be. Are you?
Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Let's start then, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will start. Chapter 19. Presently. Unless you have
Mm-hmm.
anything you want to say, Kitty, before we start.
Start.
Okay, you're sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well then, I'll start now. I can't think of any other thing to say.
Ah, I see. There you go. You just wanted me to get it frustrated. There you go. You got it. Come
Yes.
on, it's blind. I want to know what's happening.
Yes, the ash was black. No, it should not have been. Oh, that's interesting.
Uh, what is it supposed to be gray or white? Because they are like, yeah, you do get like kind of white looking ash. Yeah.
Yeah. Most common ash has a dark component, but is as much gray or white as it is black.
Hey, I didn't read that. I really didn't read that, guys.
Ash from the ash mounts. It was different. Like the mists, the ash covering our land was not natural. Perhaps it was the influence of Ruin's power, as black as preservation was white. Or perhaps it was the nature of the ash mounts, which were designed and created specifically to blast ash and smoke into the sky.
I guess.
Mist is white,
Yeah, mist is white. Hey, this is true.
so perhaps Ruin power was used to make the ash mounts.
Hmm. I don't know about making them because remember it's using the power of preservation
Oh, yeah, that's
to
true.
create. That's what he's using at the Well of Ascension. So he created the ash mounts himself to help with the whole sun debacle,
Yeah,
and so then made it dark. But I mean, gray and white ashes would do exactly the same thing.
yeah.
So maybe Ruin's just making it darker now.
Or maybe
It's
it's not
overtaken.
ash? Well, no, he's calling it ash, so it's probably ash.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who's speaking. Get up! Everything was dark. Get up! Spook opened his eyes.
Uh-oh.
Spook chapter!
Mm-hmm.
He's alive! I knew he was alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought maybe he was dying, but I'm happy he's alive.
Me too. Everything seemed so dull, so muted. He could barely see. The world was a dark blur, and he felt numb, dead. Why couldn't he feel? Uh.
Detox, he's got no tin.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's the thing. Or he's drugged.
Yeah, well, they've given him, they gave him what, aluminium, and it burns all his tin up. And now he's got nothing.
Would they know about aluminium?
I don't know. Yes, that's how we say it. Aluminum. What? There is an I there.
Spook, you need to. Okay, so they know the name Spook? Is this a dream?
Yeah.
Who's speaking?
Yeah, who knows?
Spook, you need to get up! The voice was clear, yet everything else felt muddy. He couldn't quite manage to think. He blinked, groaning. What was wrong with him? His spectacles and cloth were gone. That should have left him free to see, but everything was so dark. He was out of tin. Okay. So, what happens to a savant who no longer has tin?
Yeah, is it like this burn rate has changed? Your physiology has changed? No, not the burn rate. Your burn rate doesn't change. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. What are you thinking?
I mean, I imagine it's what happens when an addict doesn't have his drugs. He goes through withdrawals.
Mm. But yeah, withdrawals. Yeah, I guess it's you're going from highness and happiness to the depths of despair. So you're going from being able to see very well to going backwards. You're not just going to normal. And also maybe he is going back to normal. And this is what normal's like, and that seems like he can't see. Meantime, this is what normal people see.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is it like he's gone back to normal human mode and that's crazy, or he's gone to even worse, like he's gone declined, he's gone below zero, if you know what I'm saying, in terms of,
Yeah.
yeah, sight.
Okay, so whoever is speaking, it's not gonna be Sazed and it's not gonna be Breeze.
Mm-mm.
They wouldn't be there yet. What was the name of the
Mhm.
drummer boy in the last spook chapter? Drummer guy? Dern?
Yeah.
Dern. Maybe it's Dern, but I didn't get the sense that Dern knew the name Spook.
Yeah. I don't know if
But why wouldn't he, I guess?
yeah, but again, like, why would you use your name Spook? Like, that's not a very spooky thing to do. You're
Yeah.
being a spy. Give a
Then,
spy name.
yeah. Then again, if he's proud of the name because Kelsier gave it to him,
Mm.
he might have told his contacts. Or it might be that the contacts knew who Spook was.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking,
No,
okay, so
Dern didn't.
uh,
Dern didn't know who Spook was
mm,
because Dern basically said to Spook in the last chapter, "Look, I heard the survivor talk, so you know,
yeah, he's talking about yeah, he's not saying this my name's Spook, the survivor gave my name. That he didn't do that, I
yeah,
suppose. But also, okay, so if this is somebody that is an ally or something, what did they knock him out and leave him in the streets? Because I was expecting him to be taken
me
in.
too, imprisoned.
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
else is working with
okay,
you?"
yeah. So they've taken him in. Okay, if they have, okay, either they left him in the street dead, they thought, which that seems weird, or they brought him in, and now there's people that know him on the inside somehow. They've found out about him.
Yeah, but like, why would there be double the spies in this city? And what I mean by that is, how would Spook not know of other spies assigned to
No,
this
no, no.
place?
I'm not thinking of it that way. I'm thinking of like people that are working for
Quellion?
the yeah Quellion.
Or I
Like
mean,
it's
either
possible he
or.
doesn't know those people. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the same way that we know Goradel, do we know any other names of people from previous books?
Nope.
I don't think we do.
Well, let's find out. Hopefully, we find out.
Yeah. There was nothing burning in his stomach. The familiar flame, a comforting candle within, was no longer there. It had been his companion for over a year, always there. He'd feared what he was doing, but had never let it die, and now it was gone. That was why everything seemed so dull. Was this really how other people lived? How he used to live? He could barely see. The sharp, rich detail he'd grown accustomed to was gone. The vibrant colors and crisp lines. Instead, everything was bland and vague. His ears felt clogged, his nose, he couldn't smell the boards beneath him, couldn't tell what tree the wood came from by its scent. He couldn't smell the bodies that had passed. He couldn't feel the thumpings of people moving about in other rooms. And he was in a room. So, are you leaning towards this is how normal people are, or do you think the pendulum has swung even farther in the opposite direction?
I think this is how normal people are.
I
I
think
think
so too.
that's yeah. Just if anything, he's not. It maybe it's more severe right now because he's adjusting.
Yes.
So it is. It's kind of. Can you imagine? What I'm imagining is like when you're out in daylight for a while, like really bright daylight. You don't have sunglasses on or anything, and then you come inside and your eyes haven't adjusted yet, and it's dark, and you're like,
Yeah.
what is going on here? You're like, okay, hurry up, eyes. That's essentially it. But not, and also just remember as well, it's like his world has become very small because before he could there's this explanation of like he could feel everything. He was part of everything essentially, and now it's just like this big small foggy area that he's in.
Yeah.
That's quite a trip.
Pressing his right hand to his forehead, he sat up, trying to think. Immediately, a pain by his shoulder made him gasp. The wound had not been cared for. Ah!
Eh,
He remembered the sword piercing him in the chest near his shoulder. That was not a wound one recovered from easily. Indeed, his left arm didn't seem to work right, one of the reasons he was having so much trouble rising. "You've lost a lot of blood," the voice said. "You'll die soon, even if the flames don't take you. Don't bother to look for the pouch of tin at your belt. They took that." I don't know. This could either be Dern or I think it could be
hmm.
Beldre.
No, I'm thinking it's Dern.
It would have to be Dern, I
Yeah,
think.
I don't think Beldre would be in here. So it seems like he's woken in a house, and they're
They're
about
gonna burn
to
him.
yeah, they're gonna burn him.
Yeah. He'll find a way out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
"You've lost a lot of blood," the voice said. You'll die soon, even if the flames don't take you. Don't bother to look for the patch of tin at your belt. They took that. Flames? Spook croaked, blinking. How did people survive in a world that was this dark? Can't you feel them, Spook? They're near. There was a light nearby, down a hallway. Spook shook his head, trying to clear his mind. I'm in a house, he thought. A nice one. A nobleman's house. And they're burning it down.
Yep, that's it. So, I suppose they found Dern as well. Like, yeah, we saw him with that guy and or whatever. Or it's one of Dern's men
Yeah,
that knows him.
or maybe
Mm.
they are rescuing him. Yeah,
Why would they? I guess,
because
yeah.
they
Mm.
I mean, he's paying them presumably.
Yeah, but if they're rescuing him,
Whoever this is shouting at him, "Get up, get up. You need to get
mm-hmm.
up." Yeah, I think this is a rescue mission.
Okay, but why didn't he bring Tin then?
Any number of reasons. Again, the tin that was on Spook was taken from him. If they have, I forget the name of the Allomancer power that lets people see metal, but that could be a reason for stealth purposes. Or maybe they just didn't have it.
Mm.
We'll see. This finally gave him motivation to stand, though he immediately dropped again, his body too weak, his mind too fuzzy to keep him on his feet. Or it could be Hoyd.
Mm.
Don't walk, the voice said. Where had he heard that voice before? He trusted it. Crawl, it said. Spook did as
Yes,
commanded, crawling forward.
that's better with fire, by the way. Yeah. Not by the way, we all know that, so. And it's, yeah, crawling, but better for him.
No, not toward the flames. You have to get out so you can punish those who did this to you. Think, Spook. What are the odds that there's no one there and this is some sort of hallucination on his point?
Yeah,
Or
is
his
this
part?
Calcia?
Yeah.
Calcia's voice telling him to wake up and he's got to get. Yeah, I think maybe that it could be.
Hmm.
He's also in a weird state. Yeah. That revenge thing, punish those who did that. That makes me think of Calcia.
Hmm. Window, Spook croaked, turning and crawling toward one of them. Boarded shut, the voice said. You saw this before from the outside. There's only one way to survive. You have to listen to me. Spook nodded dully. Go out the room's other door. Crawl toward the stairs leading to the second floor. Spook did so, forcing himself to keep moving. This could also be a long game. This could be one of Quellian's underlings trying to trick him to get answers. But again, how would he know the name Spook?
Yeah, and that's really, really elaborate as well. Fire and everything.
Hmm.
There's already flames because it's not like they're pretending. There's actual flames.
Yeah, no, I definitely think he's in a burning building right now.
Mm. That's just pretty elaborate for them to
Yeah.
burn a building to get answers from him.
Yeah, so far in order of likelihood, I think it is hallucination, Dern. I no longer think it's Beldray because I don't think she'd be allowed into a burning building, so I'm going to say third that I can think of is Hoyd, Quellian underling to Trick in that order so far.
Hmm. In terms of hallucination, I would think it's Calcia, and because in terms of what the hallucination is, it's Calcia, and it's brought on by the withdrawal.
Hmm. Yeah. Spook did so, forcing himself to keep moving. His arms were so numb they felt like weights tied to his shoulders. He'd been flaring tin so long that normal senses didn't seem to work for him anymore. He found the stairs, though by the time he got there he was coughing. That would be because of the smoke, a part of his mind told him. It was probably a good thing he was crawling. Okay, but look, hear me out. So if Dern's message to Spook at the end of this was, count the skulls,
Hmm.
it could be that this isn't the first time someone who was going to be burnt was rescued. And it could be that
Mm.
there is another rebel group forming, planning on taking down Quellian.
Yeah, or it's how Quellian gets Allomancers.
Hmm.
He supposedly kills everyone, and the Allomancer gets saved so that he can keep that Allomancer as part of his crew. That's how he actually gets them.
Good idea.
Yeah, so that would probably work for him. Mm.
Yeah. He could feel the heat as he climbed. The flames seemed to be chasing him, claiming the room behind him as he moved up the stairs, still dizzy. He reached the top, then slipped on his own blood and slumped against the wall, groaning. "Get up!" the voice said. So, look, if someone were actually there, why can't this person help lift Spook? Which is another
Yeah,
point in
exactly.
favor of the hallucination thing. The point
Yeah.
against the hallucination thing, though, is the fact that it's written as dialogue, not
Mhm.
italics or anything
Thought.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where have I heard that voice before? He thought. Why do I want to do what it says? It was so close. He'd have it, if his mind weren't so muddled. Yet he obeyed, forcing himself to his hands and knees again.
That's a point for Calcia voice
Yes.
because he wants to obey it.
Yeah. "Second room on the left," the voice commanded. Spook crawled without thinking. Flames crept up the stairs, licking at the walls. Though his nose was weak, he suspected the house had been soaked with oil. It made for a faster, more dramatic burn that way. "Stop. This is the room." Spook turned left and crawled through a doorway. The room was a study, well furnished. The thieves in the city complained that ransacking places like this one wasn't worth the effort. The citizen forbade ostentation, so expensive furniture couldn't be sold, even on the black market. Nobody wanted to be caught owning luxuries, lest they end up burning to death in one of the citizens' executions. Eh,
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
yeah, I suppose. Not wanting to
This
be
is this
caught,
is
even on the black
yeah,
market.
this is the height of control where he's at. So like the black market would be very small, and yeah, a something as big as furniture, being caught with it, it's quite easy, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Spook! Spook had heard of the executions. He'd never seen one. He'd paid Dern to keep an eye out for the next one. Spook's coin would get him advance warning, as well as a good position to watch the building burn down. Plus, Dern promised he had another tidbit, something Spook would be interested in, something worth the coin he'd paid. Count the skulls. Okay, we knew this would be
Right.
important here.
Mhm. It makes sense that he goes through this because his mind is completely muddled. So it's like, wait, reorienting himself.
Yeah. Spook! Spook opened his eyes. He'd fallen to the floor and begun to drift off. Flames were already burning the ceiling. The building was dying. There was no way Spook would get out, not in his current condition. "Go to the desk," the voice commanded. "I'm dead," Spook whispered. "No, you're not. Go to the desk." Spook turned his head, looking at the flames. A figure stood in them, a dark silhouette. Dark silhouette? Could be a man of mist?
Mm, yeah. I'm thinking in the desk we've got tin.
Maybe. The walls dripped, bubbled, and hissed, their plaster and paints blackening, yet this shadow of a person didn't seem to mind the fire. That figure seemed familiar, tall, commanding.
Calcia!
Yeah, it's feeling like Kelsier right now.
Hmm. We need a bit of like we just need a little bit of in this movie. We do need to see him again, so I'm happy.
Yeah. "You?" Spook whispered. "Go to the desk." Spook rolled to his knees. He crawled, dragging his useless arm, moving to the desk. "Right drawer." Spook pulled it open, then slumped against it. Something was inside. Vials? Ah!
Hmm.
Yay, he'll need that tin. And that would be a bit of Quellian hubris there, not making sure that there wasn't any metal in a building where they planned
Mm,
to burn noblemen
yeah.
who might have mistborn abilities, though probably not, let's
Hmm.
be honest. Vials? He reached for them eagerly. They were the kinds of vials used by allomancers to store metal shavings. With hands trembling, Spook picked one up, but it slipped free of his numb fingers. It shattered. He stared at—
Lick,
No!
lick,
Lick!
lick
Yeah.
up glass. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, don't do that.
Mm.
Glass isn't a metal, last I checked.
Mhm.
It shattered. He stared at the liquid from the vial, an alcohol solution that would keep the metal flakes from corroding, as well as help the allomancer drink them down. "Spook!" the voice said. Dully, Spook took another vial. He worked off the stopper with his teeth, feeling the heat of the blaze around him. The far wall was nearly gone. The fires crept toward him. He drank the contents of the vial, then searched within himself, seeking tin, but there was none. No!
Mm,
See, I was kind of half expecting it to be all of the metals, like a vial
yeah.
for a Mistborn, though I guess it
But
makes
then
sense that it
again,
wouldn't be.
yeah, exactly. If there was a Mistborn here, Quellion would definitely not be in power unless he was the Mistborn. But yeah,
Yeah.
he
Also,
he
Mistborn are
doesn't seem to
rare.
have. Yeah, exactly.
But there was none. Spook cried out in despair, dropping the vial. It had contained no tin. How would that have saved him anyway? It would have made him feel the flames and his wound more acutely. Spook, the voice commanded. Burn it! Okay, so if this is a mist creature telling him to do this, or a hallucination, but mist creature seems slightly more likely now. It could be convincing him to draw upon the mists in the way that Vin did, and he could end up being a Mistborn. What happens if
Well,
Spook
we don't
ends
have
up
the
being a
mist in
Mistborn?
here. We don't have the mist in here. I am thinking we're
Oh,
going
that's true.
towards.
Mist doesn't enter into.
Yeah. But I am thinking we are going towards Spook Mistborn kind of thing because somehow he's almost dying. You can re-snap. I don't know.
Maybe.
Things are everything's on the table here and he's burning it. So whatever. Somehow there's something in here that he can burn somehow. So
Yeah.
yeah, and also in terms of this being a mist creature, suddenly mist creatures can talk. Because remember that all we had previously was
Ah,
pointing.
good point.
Yeah.
Hmm. Spook, the voice commanded. Burn it! There is no tin, Spook yelled. Not tin! The man who owned this house was no Tin Eye! Not tin. Spook blinked. Then, reaching within himself, he found something completely unexpected. Something he'd never thought to see. Something that shouldn't have existed. A new metal reserve. He burned it. His body flared with strength. What?
He's got so he's got hey, maybe we can develop from being an allomancer. You can try other metals. Maybe people think that they just get one and then they focus on it and then they never try other allomancy things before. So maybe we just don't know enough about allomancy. Maybe we haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Or he's special. This has
Or he's
somehow
special.
moved him.
Or it's a savant thing.
Yeah, it's a savant thing that it kind of like opens you up to being able to burn other. Maybe it's a tin savant thing that
Hmm.
you are opened up to being able to burn other metals. I don't know. This would be cool. I don't think we'll have the answer in the next page, but
No.
the point is he's burning pewter, and that shouldn't be possible. That's a great blind. That's cool.
So cool. I
Yeah,
also have to wonder if this is a permanent thing or not. I'm wondering like if
yeah,
he'll get out of this, he'll heal, he'll try to burn it again, and he won't be able to. Like I'm wondering if this is
yeah.
a mist creature or a hallucination. I think it's a little bit more than a hallucination, which I think is why I switched to mist creature.
Because it
Though I
knows
don't think,
things. Yeah.
yeah, it knows things. Maybe it's helping him, or it's
Hmm.
what's allowing Spook to burn more than just him.
Yeah. I mean, we've had Vin, like you say, draw on the mists and not being able to do it again. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
His body flared with strength. His trembling arms became steady. His weakness seemed to flee, cast aside like darkness before the rising sun. He felt tension and power, and his muscles grew taut with anticipation.
Woo!
Yay!
Mhm.
Stand! His head snapped up. He leapt to his feet, and this time the dizziness was gone. His mind still felt numb, but one thing was clear to him. Only a single metal could have changed his body, making it strong enough to work despite his terrible wound and blood loss. Spook was burning pewter.
Woo! That's so exciting.
I'm
Go,
so happy for
go,
him.
Spook. Yeah, this is great. I really hope it's permanent. It would be cool that he has. Can you imagine super strength and super senses? Come on, let's go. Or Mistborn Spook. That's great. That would be great as well. Does this hallucination go away, and or does it stay and he's like kind of the prophet of Kelsier because he can speak to Kelsier? But I don't think it. I think it's momentary. This ability to speak to whatever voice this is.
I'm inclined to agree, and
Mm.
I do think it's Kelsier, or some version of Kelsier, or something pretending to be Kelsier
Yeah.
at this point.
Mm.
I also Like if this is permanent, then we get to see what happens when the cat catches his tail. Will Spook be treated differently? Will he be treated differently
Mm,
in the way that he has always wanted to be? Or will the change be met with a really aggravating, everyone treats him like he's dangerous because he hasn't earned that power kind of a thing in a really unfair way? You know those kinds of stories?
I don't think it would be unearned kind of thing. I think he's gone through enough. People wouldn't view it as he hasn't earned it.
No, I think people are going to treat him like he's too immature for having the
Yeah.
power. And that's going to really annoy me
Mm.
if it goes that way.
Well, yeah, that would be silly because they didn't do that to Vin.
Yeah,
And she was literally like a child.
yeah. The figure stood in the flames, dark, hard to make out. I've given you the blessing of pewter, Spook, the voice said. Use it to escape this place. You can break through the boards on the far end of that hallway, escaping onto the roof of the building nearby. The soldiers won't be watching for you. They're too busy controlling the fire so it doesn't spread. Spook nodded. The heat didn't bother him anymore. Thank you. The figure stepped forward, becoming more than a silhouette. Flames played
Oh,
against the man's firm face, and Spook's suspicions were confirmed. There
come
was a
on!
reason he'd trusted the voice, a reason he had done what it had said. He would do anything this man commanded. I didn't give you pewter just so you could live, Spook, Kelsier said, pointing. I gave it to you so you could get revenge. Now go!
That's so cool. Okay, so it's like I gave it to you. I don't know if how true this all is, hallucination or not. Maybe it is Calcia, and Calcia can give blessings. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay, so, one, I don't believe this to be Kelsier.
Hmm.
The
It's
word blessing.
Figment. Yeah.
No, not even that. The word blessing makes me think this is a Chondra.
Yes. Yeah. I did think of that. Yes.
Uh, Certainly not Orasur, who's almost certainly dead, but possibly that
Hmm.
Palm guy.
Hmm.
But whatever this is, I don't think Spook is Mistborn. I think now he just has access to two metals, pewter and tin now.
Hmm. Yeah, like you would with I think that they kind of do that with not ferrochemy, the blood magic essentially with the hemalurgy with the
Hmm.
inquisitors. Like they get a spark per power essentially, so it's kind of like okay, well, whatever, he was given something. We don't know what the contra can do, but yeah, the blessing, when I read blessing there, I was like, yeah, hold up, that that could be a contra thing. It's not a capital B, but still it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Or this essentially what this could be is just Spook hallucinating the whole thing and just finding the strength within him to get out.
Yeah.
Unconfirmed. We're not going to get it anytime soon, but that was really cool. I think it wants us to not know, and I'm here for it. I wouldn't mind it being that Calcia could, through preservation, be
Mm.
part of the world. But that's it. And he used it. He used this last minute because of Spook. But I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning more towards the rational explanation rather than the Calcia equals God resonate explanation.
Yeah. Look, whatever it is, I don't think it is the Kelsier from book one,
Mhm.
but I do think that there is a mystical element at play that will be explained in some way.
Yeah. The point is, this should not have happened. Normally, this he's just supposed to have died. And also, if he had gotten Tin, like what I was expecting is if he had gotten Tin, his the thing that would have actually had made it more difficult is obviously he's feeling all the pain and all the flames and things like that. And
Hmm.
then he would have to just, that's the challenge he would have to overcome. But yeah, the fact that he burns pewter, damn, didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, no, I did not see that at all. This does beg
Because we
one,
know the rules.
right? Well, I was just
Yeah.
about to say, this begs the question, why is it up till this point, it has only ever been one power or all powers? Why has it never been
Mhm.
two or three or four?
Mhm. Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, is it because we just didn't know? We just assumed because it takes so much time to develop the second or third power or something that they never try. They just land up doing it.
Hmm.
That they just land up not never burning another metal.
I mean,
And yeah, I don't know. There's so many explanations we could come up with.
I think that there is a controlling entity. I'm not
Mhm.
convinced that it's preservation, but I do think that there is a controlling entity that decides who snaps and who doesn't. I'm not convinced it's purely genetic.
Mm.
Hmm.
Remember, you also have that theory of the mists making elements, at least.
Gosh. Oh, excellent blind.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Yeah. Anything
Like
else
the
to
video,
say?
like the video. Spook is cool and alive.
Yeah, and unique now with 2 powers.
If it lasts, either way, he's alive. What are we gonna do? And he's also he's being brought to life for revenge. Hmm.
Oh gosh, yeah, we hadn't even brought that up. That doesn't
Mhm.
strike me entirely as a Kelsier thing
Yeah.
anymore, which is why I kind of don't think this is the
Mm.
Kelsier.
Yeah, it's like it's something that's what makes me think it's actually in his mind because he would focus on revenge. So, yes, I know that there's things that the creature or whatever it was seemed to know, but those things
Hmm.
can be explained that maybe he did know that. Maybe he's been in that house before. He's been spooking around all over the place. So we
Hmm.
don't know. So, yeah, when that explanation happens, it's going to be a great thing. But I don't think it'll be anytime soon because it was such a banger of a chapter. It's like, yeah, sit with that, boys, and then, and then we're like, wow, tell us more. Nope, it'll be maybe like 5 chapters, I think. Yeah,
Yeah. No, we'll see. It'll be a while.
this would be a marathon reading session. If I'd read that, then I would have read till the next spook chapter within the same session.
Mm,
I would have gone, yeah.
yeah,
But
probably.
we hold back and we refine our experience along the way.
Indeed. Thank you all for
Mm.
tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Subscribe to that darn Kitte if you get a chance, because she's got a great channel.
And subscribe to this channel. Dorcas has a great channel, as you can see.
It would be tremendously appreciated. I'm trying to grow as a channel. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks, bye.
Okay, thanks, bye.